the pros of training by yourself, you're training alone. So there's going to be more on the private side. If you do have a trainer, you're training with them on a one-on-one basis, or if you're just by yourself, no trainer, you can afford that, whatever. You don't have a trainer where you're at, whatever. So first off, the benefit and the pro of training by yourself is that you can work on like the generic or the general skills. So you can specifically get help on your general skills. So you can work on ball handling by yourself, but you can get specific things within the ball handling. So you might not have the best ability to cuff the ball, or you might need to work on your shooting, and you need to work on your form within your shooting. So the fine details you need to get better at developing. You're getting that now because you're by yourself with the trainer, or you're by yourself on the court by yourself. So you're able to get that skill specifically helped out by yourself. You're working on the details of your form or your shot or your mechanics. You get that by yourself. Or you might want to get just reps in, just like block practice where you're sitting there in the corner getting your shot. So you might be able to have access to a shooting machine, or you have somebody pulling the rebound for you. You can get them to rebound for you. You just sit there and take corner shots. So take 100 pull up shots. You can work on that by yourself. Very simple, very easy to do. Don't need any help with that. But if you do have help, that's cool. But you get to able to get more reps in and very specific kind of reps in by yourself, like you want to. But then on the psychological side, the mindset side, you're able to develop and get these skills grown without the judgment. So we all fear we don't fear failure. I said it before. We don't actually feel failure. We don't fear messing up, making mistakes. We fear the judgment that comes behind that mistake that we make. So we make a mistake, we mess up in a group, we feel like everybody judging us saying that we're suck and we're not good. But when you're by yourself, no one's there to judge you except you. So now you're in a judgment-free zone, except if you're judging yourself. And now you're able to develop your skills without feeling so bad when you mess up, make mistakes. You feel like you're pulling a group behind because you're the one that's off today, or you're the one who's not as good as everybody else. So now you're able to get these skills to a certain point without that judgment. And lastly, I know it's difficult to do this, but you can judge and you can work on the quality of skills versus the depth of the um, overall transfer of skills. So think about defense. If you're out there by yourself, you can't really work on defense because you have to actually defend somebody to actually work on your defense. But you can work on specific things within defense that can help transfer back to you actually training working against other people. So let's say you uh, you need to work on your quickness, your lateral quickness. You don't need to have somebody in front of you to work on that. You can do different things in the weight room. You can do different things on the court to kind of uh, fine tune the specific qualities that go into lateral quickness. That now you can transfer the mental and the body connection. You actually get back on there the court. So you don't need to have somebody out there with you to work on defense, but you can work on specific qualities. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and say just because you work on these qualities of the skills means that you automatically have the transfer over of these skills. It's not how it's gonna work exactly. But it does give you better than if you're just out there doing nothing or if you weren't out there trying at all. So doing these specific qualities of skills or things around that specific thing helps you aid back into your game. So those are the pros of it. First off, you get very general skills with specific help. So you need to fine tune your form shot. You can do that by yourself. You can get a lot of reps in, you get a lot of block practice in. You can get a lot of judgment free, like all the mistakes you wanna make and not feel judged by it, which gives you more freedom and creativity to be yourself. And you can work on the qualities around the skills to help you transfer the skill back over when you get back to, playing your game and stuff. But there's a con to this side too. So you can't really challenge yourself as much as you would if you were playing against other people. So when you're shooting sometimes, like I said, you're doing block practice. It's difficult to challenge yourself sometimes because you might not know how to challenge yourself. You just know to getting off shots and you ripping them off, and you can really challenge yourself by saying, "Okay, I can't do the same shot. I can't do the same move 2 times in a row." But it's difficult to do that because sometimes still get bored and you get in a comfort zone within yourself that you don't get challenged or pushed as much outside of it. So you may hit a comfort zone. Now you're in a space where you don't push yourself conditioning wise, or you don't push yourself to be very uncomfortable because it's the psychological effect of thinking, man, I missed 10 shots in a row. I'm not getting better. Or you're thinking, I'm not as fine tuned as I should be because I'm messing up all these things. But throughout the competition part of working with other people, you do get the ability to challenge these skills and see if how good you are, how good you aren't. but you're missing that when you're doing it by yourself. You also miss the game-like aspect of training because, it's difficult for you to simulate the game situation if you don't have other people out there. So it's difficult for you to have the reaction time and then to work on specific situations. You don't have other people out there challenging those situations. So let's say you're training to do a layup, right? Or trying to work on the pass. Well, it's kind of difficult to work on that pass sometimes if you don't have the visual reaction to make you do it more game like. So you doing this layup, you think it's gonna work because I've been training to do this little layup by myself, but then you don't realize that you're going against a 6'3" guy or a 6'7" post or a 6'10" post, and now you wonder why the shot's not working because you're not training it game like for it to make it transfer from practice to the game. And then lastly, we've all went through this. We've all had this struggle and issue. We just get lazy sometimes. We like discipline. We don't want to go to the gym consistently. We miss out on being able to truly make the impact that we should make because we're being lazy. We're not being as disciplined as we should be. So we get to the court and I don't feel like doing as many shots as I said I would. I'm gonna do a little bit less. Or maybe you sleep in now and you say, "Oh, I'm gonna go to the gym a little bit later," but then you don't go at all. Or you finish this rep out, I'm supposed to go in here for an hour, supposed to go at excuse me, supposed to go at this intensity, but then you back off some and you leave a little early or whatever. But you don't have that accountability if you're training by yourself. You lack that discipline because you're doing it by yourself. So if you're not there at that point where you can just be stone cold, just do everything by yourself, that can hurt you sometimes you're training by yourself. But now the flip side of it, if you're training with the group. Okay, let's go to the pros of you're working with the group now. So, one, you can work on these specific skills. You can get very detailed on the skills you want to have. So, you can work on ball handling and ball pressure now because you have somebody to pressure you. You can work on the pick and roll specifically. You can work on finishing against lift, finishing versus contact, against a help defender, against rotation. You can work very specifically on the skills that you're going to need to work on in the game versus just generic skills that you can't get the direct correlation to go over as much all the time. And then 2, you can work on more variety of things. Let's go back to shooting, right? If you're working on shooting by yourself, you're doing spot shooting, right? So you can do the same thing. It's only so much you can really do creativity wise when you're by yourself sometimes. And it's gonna be cool, but now if you're working at somebody against closing you out, you're working against pressure, now that variety comes in now because you can't do the same exact shot when somebody's challenging you, somebody's forcing you to get outside your comfort zone. So you hit that shot once or twice, now the challenge you to do something different. Now you have so many multiple things you can pull out your bag now because you have a variety of things you're pulling out your bag because you're forced to because you're in that group session now. And you get the benefit of having things being game. Like I said before, you're working on your pick and roll now, but now you have defense out there. So you have somebody setting the pick, somebody defending you on the pick and roll, and now you have a big to worry about. And depending on how many people you have to worry about rotation, you have to worry about the help defender and the gaps and so on and so forth. So you're working on that by yourself, you're gonna come around the cone or come around the chair, the trash can, and you're gonna do some little move. You're gonna, you might do some fake where pretending you're rolling something to the big, take a shot. Now you're trying to do the same exact thing, and the big doesn't move how you thought it would. Now you have to react to it, and you have to put more into the thought process and pour more into the skill session of how do I still figure out how to be productive, get a score, or get a positive play out of this when things don't go my way. And it's the exact same thing that's gonna happen when you're in the game. So you're in the game now, you worked on pick and roll and the bigs with the roll, but now you have the short roll because the defense is clogged there. But now you trained it in the game where you're in a group now. Now it's benefiting you because you're able to transfer that's a specific situation, very game-like. Now I transfer over to the game because you practice that. Also benefits you on the mental, psychological side because they have competition out there. So if you got, 4 guys out there, I'm saying first one to go make 7 shots, you got a little more energy and more fire so you can wanna win. If I split you guys same group of 4, 2 and 2, first group to hit X amount of shots, now you going a little bit more game like, now you have a little more intensity to you. And you also have accountability when you work with a group too. So when you trying to talk about being lazy and not finishing out things, it's different now because you have a group of guys and saying, "No, we're finishing this out. No, you're gonna hit these shots. No, you're gonna sit here and finish this drill out, finish this game out. You can't quit. You can't give up on us because we're here too. We're here with you." So now you have the accountability and the competition to push and keep you going. But then you also have part of that is the social interactions. Now you can work on your leadership skills. You can work on developing and fine tuning your how do you interact with different people. So if you're able to work with the trainer and they're putting you with different groups of people that you're not always used to, now you have to figure out how do I interact with this person that I don't know, they're a little bit different. So now you have the ability to work on your social skills and work on leadership skills and how you develop and communication skills. How do I talk to different people? How do I make sure that I'm getting my messages across to not bother them like you would my people over here because we just talk. But in spite of all this good, there is some downside to it. So one, you get a limited focus on what you're working on. So say you need specifically working on shooting, but then your form is bad. Well, it's hard to get the details of your form when you got a group of other people out there. The trainer might not have time to sit there and work with you, or if you're training with your homeboys, they're not going to cater to you need to work on your jump shots. Like, man, you better figure it out and produce in this session right here, produce when it's hooping. You know, you don't have time to sit and detail your game, you're working on ours too. So sometimes you get limited focus. And if you are working with a trainer, you're working with other people, I had to split my focus up between multiple people depending on how many people you have in the session. So if it's 5 people, I'm splitting getting 20% of my focus to each person. So you get limited focus, you have to share the reps in. So you are working on your shot, but now you have to take a second between each shot to let other people get their shots in too. It's not as many reps you would have had before. So it's not necessarily a bad thing if you can make it work if you're doing more game situation type stuff, but it's still calm because you don't get as many reps in as you would have doing it by yourself. And then you also deal with the judgment that you feel from dealing with other people. So back to the judgment of fear of failure. You must make a mistake now. I'm letting the group down, or I'm the one in the group that's slacking, or I'm the one that's off today. I'm the one that sucks today. I'm the one that's being terrible. So you're dealing with that judgment now, whereas before, man, you by yourself. You don't care as much. You're training by yourself, or just you and the trainer, so it's not as much of a burden on you. Versus now, when you're training with other people, mm, my homeboy looking at me looking crazy. The girl over there in the corner, she cute, or the girl in our session with her, she's cute. I don't want to look bad in front of her, and she's showing me up. And my best friend over here, I can't look bad in front of him. I don't want to be one in the group. That's the the weak link in the group. I don't want to be that person. So that can be a good accountability thing, but you don't want to handle that pressure. So it just depends on where you're at. So that's a lot, man. I know it's a decent pros and cons list of how it can help or hurt you training by yourself versus training in a group. But you take with that what you will, and just figure out where you're at in your space of training. Do you need more individual? Do you need more group training? Do you need more specific attention to you to work on your skills by yourself, or do you want to have more of a group? In my opinion, you get a good bit of both because you deal with the pros and the cons. The difference comes in how much you do each of the other. How much do you do by yourself? How much do you do with your group and your homies? So depends on you and where you're at with your situation, but it's a pros and cons list. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. But let me know what you think, man. What is something that I missed out on the pros and cons? What's something that I missed out on the benefit training alone versus training by with the group? So let me know. Appreciate you for watching.